practice in the level, because it's difficult but not difficult. You can memorize expressions and you can memorize strategy. Okay, strategy. Almost forget the name. Okay. For this, for this lesson, we are going to use color green, color orange, color green, and color yellow. What are color green and color yellow?
Green is verb.
Green is verb.
Yellow is connectors.
Yellow is connectors.
Orange.
And orange not necessary.
Adjective.
Orange is not necessary. Don't worry. I said orange, but orange is not necessary. I'm sorry. My bad. You know? In this moment, orange is not necessary. But we will study using green and yellow. So we are going to use this. Green, 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 green. Green, 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 green. There we go. But teacher, this is orange. I know, sorry. Let me change it to color green. That's the color green. And this is color green. There we go. So, green for verbs and yellow for connectors. And connectors that we are going to study today are very, very, very important. We are going to study connectors, connector if, connector when. Please take a note in these two connectors. The verb to be where and the connectors if and when. And I'm going to start this specific lesson with the utility of the connector if and when. Okay? Let's start with connectors if and connectors when. Okay? These words are used to connect two different sequences of ideas, two different sequences of ideas or standard formula. Who remembers what is the standard formula in English? Standard formula in English.
Subject, verb,
Subject,
and complement.
Verb and complement. You are correct. We are going to connect two standard formula. Idea number one, which is, as Laurita said, subject, verb, and complement. And then idea number 2, which again, it's subject, verb, and complement. This is the green section, the one over here. Let me show you this one. This is the green section I am talking about. You see? And this is the idea number 2 that I am talking about. Person, verb, complement if person, verb, complement. Or with when is the same, eh? No difference. Person, verb, complement when person, verb, complement. This structure is what we call structure or condition. We are asking for conditions and consequences. Okay? Conditions and consequences, because idea number 1 is a consequence of idea number 2. I repeat, idea number 1 is a consequence of idea number 2. Let's eliminate when for a moment. Let's check an example. In the example, I can say, I can pass the exam as a consequence of what? What do you think is a consequence of passing the exam?
If I don't study?
If I don't study, negative,
Yes.
but can is
If
positive.
I study?
If I study, no?
If I study,
That's
I can pass
correct.
the exam. If I study, for the
That
example.
is totally correct. If the condition that I need is study. Do you see? This is what we call a condition. And that's the reason if is a connector. You see? Technically, we are playing with connecting ideas. What is interesting about this in English is that you can switch. You can play, do you play Uno?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You know this card?
Change. Yes.
What happens is 1, 2, 3, and then 3 to 1. Oh, and then it goes to the back. Well, observe. Oops. If I study, then we're going to use a comma. If I study, comma, I can pass the exam. So now, it's the same idea, but flip the switch. Flip, flip. I just flip the switch. Flip, flip. That's it. That is the whole story and the whole the introduction to your lesson today. Today we are going to learn conditions and consequences. And you will tell me what consequences happen in your life. If I do this, I can do that. If I do this, I don't do that. If I do this, I will do that. And if I do this, I may do other thing. Before we continue, let's try. Tell me, using can like this. Actually, you know what? You know what? You know what? Let's use a modal. Yeah, I think it's a good idea to use a modal in this case. So, ahorita, what can you do if you win the lottery? What can you do if you win the lottery?
If I can.
Look at the formula. It's not correct to say if I can.
I can do.
Do what?
I again the task, please.
Sure. What can you do if you win the lottery?
I don't understand the second sentence.
If you win the
Okay.
lottery.
Okay.
Lottery.
You see this T? The letter T stands for
Lottery. Okay.
Lottery.
Lottery.
What can you do if you win the lottery?
I can I can buy
Okay.
a new house if
Buy a new house.
I win the lottery.
Exactly. That's correct. I can buy a new house if you win the lottery. Totally. And for example, if Karen, what can you do if you meet your favorite actor?
Okay. If I meet my favorite actor, I can take a picture with him.
Totally. Yes, very nice. What about Benny? What can you do if you get an assistant? Urgent.
Yes. I can assistant.
Incomplete.
Okay.
And opposite. Look at the sequence.
Okay.
This person can do that. This is the consequence first, eh? The consequence first and the condition later.
Okay.
Idea two is the condition.
Okay. Yes. I have no. I don't know.
What happened?
Um,
What?
I don't. I okay. I don't have time, or I don't know. It's okay.
I don't have time. This is present, no? In this moment, you don't have time.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Continue.
Or I can I use past participle in this case?
No. Because it's super important. The verb in present is necessary in this moment because it's real. It's not imaginary.
Okay.
When it's imaginary, you need a different formula. But in this case, it's real consequence. What is the real consequence if you get an assistant?
Uh-huh. But in this moment, I don't have assistant.
That's why if you get an assistant, what can you do? What you obtain permissions, you obtain opportunities.
Exactly.
When you
But
no?
but my first sentence, I used if I don't if I have assistant, but you you said me no.
Oh, okay. Because I'm not talking about, okay, it's imaginary, but it's not unreal, you know. Let me explain this to you in a different slide. You need to make a difference between real versus unreal. Okay, a real consequence is something that can happen, Actually, I'm going to introduce can, will, and may. Talk about real consequences because can gives you the opportunity or ability.
Yeah.
What is the contrast to this? The contrast is instead of opportunities and abilities, we will have a contrary, an imaginary consequence. I guess I could. I think I could. This is more metaphorical, more imaginary. And is an assistant imaginary or real?
Imaginary.
No. Let me give you another example.
Okay.
You need to contrast an assistant versus a Ferrari. Do you
What?
plan a Ferrari, a car?
Okay.
Do you plan to buy a Ferrari?
No, yet.
Not yet, right?
Yes.
That is not in our plans, and this is not something that can help your situation in this moment.
Yes. No.
that's an unreal situation. That's imaginary
Yes,
because
yes.
it's
Okay,
far,
okay.
far, 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 far from the plan.
Yes.
So a real consequence is real situations. A real consequence, number one, is when it can help you. It can help your reality in this moment.
Okay, okay. I got it.
You know,
Yes.
can help your reality, your current. Do you know what is current?
Frequently or
Actually,
Kind of. Actually, no, because actually is de hecho. Actually.
sequence sequentially? I don't know.
Okay, let's go to the dictionary. Current. B1, yeah. Happening now, at the present time.
Oh,
You see, current is of the present time. The current situation is the present situation, the presentation in this moment.
okay.
Got it? And that will be the contrast to unreal. Unreal would be it would be nice. Or horrible. But our life is not relevant for number two. Now you get the point, right? So using that as a reference, let's go back. Vianney, what can you do? What is possible for you in your present life if you get an assistant?
I need, yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
I need an assistant.
You need an assistant. That's present. Okay, continue.
Yes. If I no.
I think you need to consider consequence versus condition. Listen to my question. What can happen is a consequence if you get an assistant. If you get an assistant, this is the condition.
Yes.
So if you get an assistant, what can happen?
Oh, okay. I can more time.
Okay, incomplete. Yes, you are close.
I can I
You need a verb.
can. The verb is can.
No, the can is a modal. Formula 7.
Okay.
Formula 7. Let me open. Structures handbook. Can. There. Can is for permissions. So if you have an assistant, what do you have the permission to do? I can.
I can I can eat. I can
I can eat.
I can eat with my family.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yes. Mhm.
I can with I can eat with my family if I get an assistant.
Yes.
Bravo.
That's correct. I can eat with my family. The other example was correct too, eh? If you say I can space have time or have more time. The verb was have in this
Okay.
case. You see, I can have more time if I get an assistant. I can enjoy my family if I get an assistant, etc., etc.
Okay. Yes, teacher. Thank you.
Very good, my lady. Now, interesting position. Let's switch. If I get an assistant, comma, I can eat with my family. Now the sequence is flipped. You can do both.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes. Yes.
Very, very good. Guys, any other question?
Teacher.
Fantastic. So something that Vianney was saying very, very important here is the difference between a real consequence versus unreal situations. The difference is that real consequences can help your life in this moment. But unreal situations are probably not happening or not happening yet. So it's not in your plans in this moment. You will probably have a Ferrari, yes, of course, but this is not the plan today. So that's the reason it's very different to say, for example, I will buy a Tesla because that's a promise, versus saying I would buy a Tesla because this is imaginary. Very different, you see? And at the same time, may is used for permissions. It is used for probable or less probable things, less probable situations. That's the difference between one and another. It's real consequence versus unreal situation. It's different to say, I will buy a Tesla versus I will buy a Tesla. Grammatically is the same, no difference. Grammatically similar. I will buy a Tesla, I would buy a Tesla. No difference. The difference is contextual. The context is different. So we are going to play with these two. Now let's study this. Do you have any question in the modals?
teacher.
Sure.
The difference is just with the context, teacher.
Totally.
Okay.
The difference is the context. That's the principal information.
Okay. Okay.
Very nice. Now, check this out. You cannot speak unreal with can. You cannot say imaginary situations with can. Can is true. Okay? So you cannot say imaginary situation. What is very, 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 very interesting here is that the formula, the condition is a little different. Okay? This first section there. Attention, eh? We are going to contrast idea number 2. Let's eliminate the consequence and let's go for idea number 2. Because the condition is different in both situations. I'm going to duplicate this. There we go. Looking good. Attention to the condition, eh? Jesus Christ. Idea number 2, condition. Look at this. When you are talking about a real condition, we are going to use a verb in simple form. Okay. This is the principal idea. But if you're going to use an unreal situation, Jesus Christ. Just a second, I'm having connection problems. There. Unreal. If you're going to speak about unreal situations, you need to use the verb in past. Why? Because hashtag English. And the cheese. And the cheese is y la queso. Okay? Real versus unreal. So check this out. Real situation. If I get an assistant, comma, I can have more time. Imaginary situation. If I had an assistant, I would. If I had an assistant, I would travel around the world. I don't know. I would bring my assistant to Mexico City. Watch out, eh? Attention. If I had an assistant, imaginary situation, I would bring her to the city. Let's see the difference. Let's parallel the difference. Okay? And versus would. Okay? That's idea number 2, real condition. If I get idea number 2 on real situation. If I had an assistant. Do you see the difference, present versus past?
Yes, teacher.
Perfect. Present versus past. Present versus past. Let's practice. Okay? In this case, the consequence is, the consequence would be real consequence. And the unreal consequence? Your turn. Karen, what will you do? Let's practice with this. What will you do if you see a car accident?
If I see a car accident, I could call.
Good. You're using unreal situation with a real consequence.
Okay.
One more
If
time.
okay. If I see an accident, I can call a doctor.
I can call a doctor. Very good. I can or I will. You can use a promise too.
Okay.
Right? Fantastic. Let me move this to the top because we are practicing order sequences. And Karen, what would you do if you had a car accident? I hope not. Hope not. What would you do?
If I had an accident, I will break my leg.
No, but you need to take the decision.
Ah,
Yeah, because in this case you don't plan to break your leg, you know?
okay, no.
Oh, I wish to break my leg. That's
Okay.
impossible. You would need something like Yeah, like what's the decision you make in that moment? You would make in that moment.
I would call an ambulance.
Exactly. Complete idea.
If I had thing, I will call an ambulance.
Did you say have or had?
Had.
Okay, complete.
If I had an accident, I will call an ambulance.
Fantastic.
Thanks.
Fantastic. Tell me, Jessica Asmore, what will you do if you, what will you do if you buy a house?
Buy a house? Hmm. If I buy a house, I will invite you to a party.
Oh, buy the house, please.
Mhm.
Mhm.
No.
It's possible.
Maybe this was my imaginary.
No. Imagine English. Imagine the salary in an American company. Just imagine.
All right.
Possible. Okay? English.
Nothing is impossible.
Nothing is impossible. Hell no. Actually, this reminds me of the next part.
Well,
Jessica is saying, if I buy a house, I will invite you to a party. Sounds contradictory because if is a condition and will is a promise. No? So you are correct, yes. Let me give you another help. You can use when here. You can use when
yes.
in the just a second. You can use when in the real situation. So try to promise me again to invite me to a party.
When I buy a house, I will invite you to a party
That sounds like a promise.
to open, how do you say open house?
To an open house.
On
That sounds really good. A open house party. Everyone.
a lot of beer and a lot of potatoes, fried potatoes. Mhm.
Beer and potatoes. That's the perfect party.
No,
Yes, totally.
well, I don't drink, but I for my meeting.
For my
my-
meeting.
Yes,
Yes, why not? For my guests. Invitados son guests.
guest for my guest
For my guests.
for my guest.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.
That's the one, people. So it makes more sense, no? When you are talking about consequences and you are making promises, opportunities, permissions, you can use when,
When
right? But if you go to the other side, imaginary, now let's use if. Jesse, what would you do if you met, if you met Britney Spears?
I will protect me.
Would what? Protect?
Protect
Okay.
me. If I will see to Britney Spears, I protect me because I see her video with the nips, and it's better to be careful.
Okay.
Okay.
It's better to be careful.
It's an unreal condition, no?
It's an real, yes, yes, yes. I would protect me. Grammatically, I would protect myself, not me.
I will protect myself.
That's the one. Sounds good. Val Valdez. What will you do when you get your English certificate?
If I get my English certificate, I will travel to Canada.
Oh, yes, very good. And what would you do in Canada?
I go to see snow.
Uh-oh. Formula 7. Would plus Formula 7.
Yes. I could. Yes. I could. No. Okay. I don't know.
But you are correct. The verb is correct. You have additional information, extra information.
I could see.
Exactly. Because you said I would to see. And this to is extra. Not necessary to.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yes.
Let's go again.
I would see snow if I go to Canada.
Cross information. Unreal information or the unreal condition is in present or past.
In past.
Correct. For unreal information, you need to use go in past. What is the past of go? Went? No. Correct. Good idea. What would you do if you went to Canada?
Okay. I will see snow if I went to Canada.
That is correct. Sure, but it's imaginary. Yes, but it's necessary in past. What is the difference? Check. Let's think in Spanish for a moment. How would you say, if I went to Canada, I would see snow in Spanish?
Si yo voy a Canadá, ¿vería nieve?
Si yo voy, but voy,
¿No?
voy suena que es real.
Si yo iría.
Exacto. Si yo iría y si yo fuera. Right? En español existe iría y fuera. Right? Esos irías y fueras gramaticalmente son pasados, pretéritos y copretéritos, creo que se llama, una cosa así. Let me check. Iría fuera y fuese. Ándale, ese es imperfecto y el subjuntivo se les llama. Tienen nombres así bien especiales. Todas estas, el imperfecto y el subjuntivo y todos estos pasados son de la familia de los pasados. En español tenemos una familia de pasados. Right? Es conjugación del verbo. Ajá, exacto. Entonces tenemos, aquí están los subjuntivos. Fuera, fuese, fueras, fueses, fuera, fuese, fuéramos, fuésemos. Este es pretérito imperfecto. A lo que me refiero con esto es que quiero que vean que en español hay más familias de pasados, pero en inglés,
En
¿cuántos
inglés
tenemos?
es pasado,
Es pasado y
Pasado participio.
participio.
nada más. Son los únicos dos que tenemos. Cuando en español tenemos 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 y 6. Cuando queremos reducirlo, o lo que hacemos al aprender inglés, es técnicamente reducir todo esto a solamente 4 funciones. Presente, con S, pasado y pasado participio. El ing y esta es más nada más 4, si quieres. Right? Todas estas formas de verbos, aquí en español tenemos 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 más los imperativos y los demás. 16 cambios que tiene el verbo. En inglés solamente hay 4. De los 4 solamente 2 son español, son en pasado, perdón. Y aquí 6 son en pasado. Entonces, no hay forma de decir fuese, fuera, hubiera, querría, ¿sabes? No, eso no existe, solamente usas el verbo en pasado. Por eso se usa el verbo past, no porque sea tiempo pasado, sino porque no existe un pasado que me permita hablar en imaginario. ¿Me explico?
Yes, teacher.
Right? Eso lo tenía que explicar en español para que entiendan la razón de por qué past. Y que vean que no estamos hablando en pasado, aunque diga I went, no es pasado porque dije if. If I went to Canada, I would see the snow. Went, not will go.
O sea, el if es lo que lo hace presente, por así decirlo.
Right. Ajá. El if es lo que lo hace imaginario, no presente. Imaginario, lo que lo hace imaginary. If I went, if I had, if I needed, if I wanted, if I played, if I... all the verbs in past. What is the past of eat?
8.
Ate. If I ate, etc. What is the past of study?
Studied,
Studied. If I studied. And finally, what is the past of visit?
Visited.
If I visited, etc. Any question?
mm,
Well, tomorrow you are going to see from the vocabulary, you can see that the final expression is if I were. You see? This is a special exception for conditions for imaginary conditions, unreal conditions. If I were. It's incorrect to say if I was, but tomorrow we see that. In this moment, you finished. Any question?
No, teacher.
No, teacher.
No.
Let's
Teacher.
go to sleep, girls. What a
Good night.
great
Night,
class.
teacher.
I'll see you
Thank
tomorrow,
you.
girls.
See
Tomorrow,
you.
teacher.
Bye.
Bye-bye. See you later.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.
Good night.